The countdown is on. Just before the elections, is everything escalating now? Will we get a red-green government or will we get black-red? That is, of course, the main question. Now, all of a sudden, people are starting to throw mud. And I've been asked several times now about Ullmann Fernandes. Could you maybe make a video about it after I teased it in the last video? And we're going to move that up a bit today because there's something I want to share with you. Do you remember the Rammstein scandal? Yes, exactly, the one that actually wasn't a scandal. But the media interest was so huge that the band was basically destroyed. Yes, after they performed in Russia, among other places, and people just tried to ruin this band. I see it exactly the same way again. And I'll explain to you why. Because the Bundestag had already been working on these laws much earlier. And yesterday during prime time in the Bundestag, they talked exactly about this scenario. How did the Bundestag know that Fernandes, who works for public broadcasting, would make such a statement just one day before? Those coincidences are really explosive. Or don't you think so?
It was only last month that a German politician brought the topic onto the big political stage. I'm speaking here as a woman. Defending the truth means understanding the following when 95% of deepfakes on the internet.
They already knew it last month yesterday during prime time in the Bundestag. So, where most people are watching and where there's the most potential for it, basically I would say to be spread out into the world. Did they put exactly this point on the agenda with even more regulations, as if they already knew about it beforehand? By the way, who is Fernandes? Basically, I would say it was mainly the Greens and Social Democratic Party members who also said yesterday that we need much stricter laws. And if I may ask you for just one thing, please leave a like and subscribe to this video. You might even like it halfway. YouTube doesn't want you to know the truth out there and, funnily enough, prefers to show shorts where the dopamine level is extremely high. Or just left-wing media. That's basically the business model as I personally see it. And you would really help this channel a lot. So that we finally get a real change in politics in other countries and you actually get to know the truth. Or rather, a completely different way of thinking why a lot of things might simply have been lied about or staged in order to urgently control everything possible out there on the internet. And I want to tell you something now because this is important before we judge people again who, like Rammstein, may not have done anything illegal. Because Ullmann made statements just like Rammstein did back then.
The lawyers of
Christian Ullmann, meanwhile, announces that he will take legal action against Spiegel.
On the one hand, it is largely an inadmissible suspicion report, and on the other hand, false facts are being spread due to a one-sided account.
By the way, Spiegel reported the same way back then. And yes, during the Corinna period, we all remember it was exactly the same, just with different protagonists. And every time, due to public interest, decisions could be made in the Bundestag, suddenly a majority was found after all. By the way, the Lindemann case was such that groupies, let's just say, could be backstage with the star and fulfill such desires. Yes, what has actually been completely normal in the rock scene for decades, centuries, or however long, where nobody got upset about it, so again, no criminal acts here either. The only thing that happened back then was that this one influencer, her name was Shelby Lynn. I don't think she goes by that anymore, so basically no one was allowed to silence her. That was basically it. But later she had to face the consequences for her actions. The same thing is happening now with Ulm. Yes, a huge advocate during the Corinna era, who of course knows exactly how to perfectly indoctrinate people. And let's be honest, if I were worth 50, had 10 million in the bank and would lose my image and reputation for a good cause, well, I wouldn't do it. Maybe I would do it too, just to pick a fight with a few people here and then possibly be acquitted later after years of legal battles. After all, it's for a good cause. So guys, the presumption of innocence applies exactly until the moment your guilt has been perfectly proven. And let's take a look at whether he will actually go to jail or not, and then we can comment on him. But right now, it really only serves one purpose, which is to prove something to the people out there. We need much stricter control laws. And as a Free Democratic Party politician once said, every day freedom dies, 1 meter at a time. By now, we're already losing kilometers of freedom every month. By the way, just a quick note, I don't like either of them, by the way. I think it's much worse that Chuck Norris has died. A real staunch Republican who, by the way, yes, I would say really stood for values. Unlike the two we constantly see on public broadcasting.
It's going to be a neck-and-neck race in the second state election of the year as the campaign enters the final stretch. In Rhineland-Palatinate, both parties are bringing out the big guns again.
Christian Democratic Union candidate Schneider has brought in Chancellor Merz for support, and Social Democratic Party man and incumbent Schweitzer also got a strong boost.
Watch out, and just 30 seconds later this message came in.
Which are supposed to secretly...
The federal chancellor and his deputy are said to be working on an extra large reform package in Berlin. Taxes, pensions, health, care, everything new.
The thing was so secret that it popped up just before the elections. The thing was so extremely secret that a meeting of just 2 people was suddenly leaked to the press. The thing was so secret that we all already know. Now the reforms are finally coming, just like back then during the elections. In the summer, things will noticeably get better. Autumn of reforms. Now this country is moving forward, and yet we're still recording the most bankruptcies, or even those deportation flights right before the elections. No, I don't think the Germans believe that anymore. No, I have to phrase that sentence differently. I hope people don't believe that anymore this time. And let me give you a quick hint about what happened to me at Edeka yesterday. And here I have to tell you a very quick story about what happened to me at Edeka yesterday. I was shopping with my wife yesterday. And then the baker woman said to the fish seller on the other side, "Yeah, Chuck Norris has died." And the fish seller said, yeah, sure. How many more times? No, heaven comes to Chuck Norris. And that's exactly how it is with what they're producing again. It's pure electioneering. It's pure tactics. People can't really believe it anymore, even if it might actually be true this time. But then we just have to look at the facts. We see the facts. It's just that, Colin Fernandes is making a statement, and appointments in the Bundestag were scheduled much earlier. And once again, it fits perfectly, like a glove, that the topic is extremely explosive and hot, and everyone out there is noticing it right now.
They deliberately want to go public with this only after the state election in Rhineland-Palatinate because the fear of scaring off the voters is too great.
That they are working on reforms behind closed doors doesn't surprise me.
So I can find out very quickly. So, which elections exactly do they want to wait for? Do they want to wait for Saxony-Anhalt now? Do they want to wait for Mecklenburg-Western Pomerania? Do they want to wait for Lower Saxony? Or can North Rhine-Westphalia wait? I mean, Bavaria is coming up again soon too. No, so again, here a big, so guys, which elections do you really want to wait for before the new reforms? And it really is. Don't you think it's really ridiculous by now? Yeah, to leak a secret meeting between 2 people and then immediately have the contents as well. So please, when 2 people sit down, and actually work out reforms and ideally even do it by hand. So they can't scare off their own party. Then I really have to say, nobody out there would notice anything about it. And back then, like our real chancellors we had at the time, you would retreat to a tavern, lock yourself in, and for example, draft our constitution. Yes, 2 people, real sharp minds, write everything down nicely, make the thing solid, and bring it out to the people out there. And then we would also have trust if we just got something for once. This is just cheap election propaganda right before the vote again. We're working on reforms for those, who want reforms and for those who don't want reforms. We don't want to scare them off.